All right. Well, I didn't prepare any questions, so I'm gonna let you talk. You
Um,
tell what you want to tell.
well, my name's Aden Serpin. I am a recovering addict. I have almost 14 months. Um,
Congratulations.
Thank you. This is the longest stretch I've had in my life, and up until it started, I never thought I would make it.
Yeah.
Um, I would do good for a while, and then I would fall off. And my whole family on both sides have struggled with addiction. On my mom's side, my dad's side. My dad was we called a binge alcoholic. He would start drinking, and once he started, he would be gone 3 days. He
Hmm.
may only drink once in 6 months, might be once in a month,
Whoa.
but when he drank, he was gone for 3 days.
Whoa. I've never heard of that.
Yep, yep. And then, so my first time drunk, I was 5 years old. It was my
Wow.
fifth birthday. They thought it was funny to get me drunk on Budweiser and stick me on one of those big wheels and turn me loose in the garage.
Wow.
I'm
Man.
48 now. Um, Went through some traumatic stuff as a child that a lot of people have went through that understandably have problems talking about, and that's being molested by a family member. Uh, it made me an angry, hate-filled person, and I got so sick of being that way that I made up my mind when I was in jail in May of 22, facing some pretty serious charges, level 1 possession of methamphetamine, that whenever I got out, and I thought I was going to get 8 years, I was going to go find the person and forgive them.
Wow.
Because I couldn't do it no more. I couldn't carry the anger and stuff. And I ended up I was only in jail 22 days, and they gave me one last chance and put me on probation. And I went the next day, and I went to forgive them, and they weren't home, so their wife gave me the phone number. And I called and I said, "Hey, where do you want to meet up so we can talk?" And I'd been trying to fight this person for years, and they would never do it. And now all of a sudden, now they want to run their mouth, talk smack,
Mm.
whatever. So, and then they hang up before I can even respond. And I typed out a message, "Hey, let's meet up somewhere and bump this out." Da, da, da. And then I erased the text, and I'm like, "Look, I was just coming to tell you that I forgive you. Take it or leave it. That's on you." I sent the text. I made sure the text delivered and was opened, and then I deleted the text app.
Wow.
After that, and I kept saying, "Oh, I forgave him. I forgave him. I forgave him."
Right.
And March, I believe it was 24th of 23, I I feel God put me in the position to make up my mind. Either I did forgive him or I didn't, because I was sitting playing slots and they come in, and I heard the first syllable come out of their mouth, and I knew who it was. And they walked over and sat down. They didn't realize I was there, and I had a knife. I pulled it out of my pants pocket, put it in my hoodie, and thought of all the horrible things that I could do with it to this person. And for about the first 8 minutes, I didn't care about consequences. And then I sit there thinking, well, they're pretty crippled up anyway. So no matter how much I make them suffer, it's not going to last more than 8 to 10 minutes. Whereas if they're alive, they're going to suffer until God says they're done. And you know, if I did that, I wasn't going to go to prison for it. So the cops were going to have to kill me when they come in. Um, that that wasn't going to change nothing. All it was going to do is make my grandbabies grow up without their papaw, and I couldn't do that, you know. So I got up and I left. I didn't even let them know that I was there.
Wow. Wow. That takes a lot.
So, and can you irritate me? Yes, I can get irritated easier than I like, but not as bad as it used to be. But to make me mad, you have to go out of your way and be trying to do it. And generally, I see that's what's going on, and I just ignore it.
Yeah.
Um, Life's too short. I
Yeah.
spent a lot of years in addiction and angry, and I wasted my life. I have a second chance, and I'm not wasting any of it.
Wow. That's unreal.
Then August of August 13th of 2023, my youngest son called me and said, Dad, Mom said get to the hospital. Cheyenne hung herself. Cheyenne was my daughter. She's my oldest kid, my only daughter. When I got the call, she was still alive. By the time I made it from Kokomo, Indiana to Shelbyville, Illinois, she was already gone. And we had thought, unfortunately, that someone had done it. And the person was there. And my two sons, who are as big as I am, their brother and another buddy, who are all of them are as big as I am, wanted to kill this guy. And I just took him back to the motel. I kept him safe until we knew exactly what happened, and he didn't do it. The next day, my youngest son said, Dad, you were the calmest, most composed one there, and I've never been more proud of you. And even if the guy had done it, one, it would have been in a drug-fueled rage. So it's not his normal.
Right.
But if I would have done something, I would have went to jail. And again, my grandbabies wouldn't have their mom or their grandpa. So, and I can't do that to them. A few days later, I was working in the painters union. August 18th was the only chance I had to go see my daughter before she was cremated. I let the company know. They said it was fine. I was going to be late that day. And as I was heading in, I got a message that said, hey, we're going to pay you 8 hours for today. Call the BA. And I already knew at that point that they had let me go. So I called him, and he's like, look, man, I've tried. I said, look, if they think I'm doing drugs or whatever, we can go take a drug screen right now. They can stand there with me while I take it. He's like, I've tried everything. Well, unfortunately, I was in Danville, Illinois when this all happened, and I fell off. From August 18th to February 3rd, August 18th, 2023 to February 3rd of 2024, I was out there. I didn't care. As long as I didn't go to jail and I could get a job, I didn't care. I was probably doing more drugs than a lot of addicts have seen in their life, because I couldn't bring myself to end my life, but I didn't want to be alive. I woke up February 4th and I said, that's it. I can't do this no more. I'm not honoring my daughter living this way. So I never went back home to Indiana. I stayed with a friend over here and found a job pretty quick. Bought an RV that I parked in Tuscola for a while and lived in it. I had electricity. I didn't even have water there. But I was working at a pretty good company. And the opportunity come up to join the Ironworkers Union. I joined in April of last year. In June, I had a heart attack. Found out July 3rd that I was going to have open heart surgery. So July 6th, I went skydiving, because why not? I'm only going to die one time. I'm going to live, you know.
Yeah.
So I hosted the first ever annual recovery skydiving event. We went and did that. There was 5 of us went. 3 of us were in recovery.
Wow.
And my son and his girlfriend, who have never flown. And my son is terrified of heights, my youngest. And he still rolled out of that airplane with me over 10,000 feet off the ground.
That is awesome.
So then in August, I got laid off from the Ironworkers because I wouldn't slow down. I was still working just as much as, you know, I was working too much, and I was gonna hurt myself.
Right.
And they're like, look, we can't do that, so call us when you can. And I had the surgery in October. 7 weeks to the day later, I went back to work. Worked a couple weeks in Indiana, and the opportunity come up to move over here to Villa Grove, which is where I wanted to be at anyway. So here I am.
Why'd you want to be here?
Because I got the only people I know here are like my buddy Derek Rasmussen, who, you know, police officer, running for mayor, and that caliber of people. I don't know, for lack of a better term, I don't know the dumbasses. I mean, you know, because that's what we are when we're out there in active addiction.
Yeah.
I don't. So, I know people I work with. I know Jim, Derek's father-in-law, which is how I met Derek.
Yeah.
And people that I've met through them. So it's just a whole new life over here. And I'm only about 45 minutes to an hour from my grandbabies and my two sons. But I'm still close enough to go visit my sisters over in Indiana, and probably the 3 people that I still like over there.
Yeah. So you grew up in Indiana?
Yes.
Okay.
In Cayuga and Kingman.
Okay. And then you just bounce back and forth between Indiana and Illinois throughout your
Well,
life?
I lived in Indiana, but I'd come to Illinois,
Okay.
Danville,
Right.
and that's where I done all the dumb stuff. When I got arrested and was on, transferred my probation back to Indiana, the probation officer in Indiana said, "Well, what were you doing in Danville?" I said, "Being stupid." And he just looked at me. I said, "Hence why I'm sitting in your office. I was over there being stupid."
Right.
I mean, there's no other.
There's no excuse.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
no excuse.
right.
I mean, I knew what I was doing was wrong.
Right.
I wasn't even. I was upset because I thought I was going to prison for a long time, but I wasn't mad that I got arrested because it was a way to stop. I was over it. And unfortunately, I mean, addiction is why my daughter took her life. She thought the only way she was going to beat it.
I hate to ask, but what substance?
Meth that I know of for sure. She was on probation for possession of morphine pills. So what all,
It was a mix.
I don't know, but
Right.
meth was the main one.
Right. Man. How do you conceptualize that? How do you learn that and go through that and somehow not necessarily forget but overcome that?
Because I know how much addiction sucks, and I know my daughter is no longer suffering.
Wow.
If I had to choose between my daughter suffering with addiction or being gone, I would leave her gone. I believe I'll see her one day, and I believe right now she's with my parents, so.
Better place.
Yep. It sucks my grandbabies have to grow up without their mom. She's a great woman, but at the end of the day, it's life on life's terms. Nothing,
Yeah.
Just because I'm sober does not by any means mean that my life is perfect and great. I have bad days.
Right.
But in 14 months, I haven't had a day bad enough that I needed to go drink or get high. I seen a thing the other day that says the only drink I can say no to is the first one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's drugs and alcohol, both. And the only one I can say no to is the first one. So I'm going to stick with that because it seems to be working.
There you go.
I mean, getting loaded didn't make anything better. I promise It made it worse.
Yeah.
Every time. I stayed high so I didn't feel my
Right.
daughter being gone. And that's, part of what I mean when I say I wasn't honoring my daughter.
Right. And you
And now, I may be driving down the road and just start thinking about her and start crying. And I'm okay with that today.
takes a lot to say. Make me cry.
I look at it this way. I'm about 6 foot tall, about 230 pounds, and most people that got a problem with the fact that I can cry over my daughter probably can't whoop me anyway.
I like that. I like that. I'm curious, so for me, I've been given a very, very lucky life, and my parents have given me everything I could ever ask for and more. And I was, given the tools to deal with life easier and deal with my anger and deal with my emotions and all that. And I've slowly, learned more and over the time. I'm curious, not having any of that through your childhood, how hard was it to, and how long did it take to slowly build yourself up to the point where you're at today?
So my family, my dad was a 6'2", 250-pound Marine, and his way of dealing with issues was fight. So that's how I grew up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's all you knew.
You don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't. I had anger issues as a kid. My mom wanted to take and get me tested, and my dad was one of those, oh, there ain't nothing wrong with my boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there was something wrong. I was raised completely different than my sisters. They had to eat what was made. It didn't matter if they liked it. They had to sit at that table and eat whatever was made. Me, I was laying in the living room eating cereal, watching TV, watching cartoons. I never had chores like they did. So, like how you see my house now,
Yeah.
and until I moved to this house and realized, hey, look, you're a grown-ass man. You want to live a certain way, it's on you to do it. It's not on somebody else.
Right.
Never. My brain didn't,
Didn't have it.
didn't realize, hey, look, it's not your wife's job to take care of you.
Right.
My second wife, she wanted to stay at home and keep a clean house and stuff like that, and I always made pretty good money, so I was okay with it. I pick up after myself, make my bed every morning. Sometimes I slack on my dishes, but on Saturdays I get up and I clean my house.
Yeah.
Well, that takes some effort, but the other day we got rained out, and this carpet that you see, I thought it was tan, like these walls, when I moved in. And I shampooed this carpet, took the curtains down, washed the windows inside and out, and all I did was these rooms right here, and I was wore out.
Yeah.
And that's how my ex-wife kept the house clean. And you want to talk about being humbled. I was. I'm like...
And that just happened.
Yeah, that just happened last week.
Wow.
Last Friday.
Wow. Well, it looks great.
Yeah, a week ago yesterday.
So there's a smoker's house, I would assume?
No, I don't
Before?
think so.
Well, when
It's
things are really yellow, it's the nicotine.
Right,
Right. Not the nicotine, but
Yeah,
every other bad thing in it.
Right. Yeah, I don't think he did. I just think
Okay. Just
an
didn't-
old man that didn't...
Right. Was an old man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Didn't
he
clean.
didn't... Like I say, the neighbors said that they had not seen the front porch windows
Wow.
uncovered in over 20 years.
Wow. And that's a pretty... that's a nice porch.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
I'm going to order a plant stand for over there,
Nice.
get that redone.
When I first moved back here, I moved back with my grandparents, and now I live, because then my grandparents moved to Florida, and now I live with my grandpa. And my dad remodeled the upstairs for me. Thank you, Dad. But when I first got up there, it looked like this pretty much. There was nothing. I didn't have any furniture. I didn't have any wall paintings, no decorations, no nothing. It was just plain. And over the time, I just figured and that also changed with my cleaning habits and whatnot. I cared about it more because it's mine.
Right.
My grandpa didn't come up there and clean it, and
Right.
and he wasn't going to stay on me about cleaning it because it's my deal. And slowly, I just kind of got, I guarantee it'll happen to you too. I mean, we're humans, right? We're not that different. And slowly, you want more. You want it to be more homely. You feel better. I know, after I clean things, I feel more comfortable. I feel
Right.
more clear-headed. And those are things like you said, you clean on Saturday. I do too. Today I got up and I cleaned. I vacuumed and I mopped and cleaned. And the way I feel after I clean is it's like a drug. It's almost like a
Oh,
drug.
Yeah.
It's just you don't understand it. And a lot of times I'm a lazy person. I'm naturally lazy. I don't like doing things. I'd rather sit and chill.
Oh, yeah.
And so it takes a lot for me to get up and do it. But the way you feel after is you can't buy that.
So normally, I'll get up. I'm up by 6 o'clock at the latest every morning. Usually I'm up before 5 because I get up at 5, for work.
Yeah.
By 5 o'clock, the dog's ready to go outside. So
Right.
even on the weekends, her schedule don't change.
Yeah.
You don't care.
Yeah.
So I'll get up and I'll lay there on Facebook, whatever, and then I'll get up and usually I'll make breakfast, and it'll take me till 11, 12 o'clock to do my cleaning because I do a little bit and I'll go sit down.
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
Well, today I had plans, and I
Right.
wasn't leaving my house until my stuff was done. And I will tell you that I can clean this house in 30 minutes if I get motivated.
Yeah.
That's like do all my dishes, laundry.
Right.
And the only thing I had left to do was when you got here, I was mopping the floors. So, I mean, I still need to do my bedroom floor and stuff, but yeah, I just...
Do you dread it before you do it?
No.
No. I do that a lot. I will just like put it off, and I procrastinate. But just I dread doing it, and then make it like a big task in my head, and make it a bit like a hill to climb. And it's like it takes me, like you said, 30 minutes if you're really into doing it. And
what I'll do is I'll pick something to wash.
Yeah.
Or something to do, because once I do that, so one thing about addicts,
it's rolling.
Yeah,
it's a snowball.
One thing about addicts is we want instant gratification.
Right.
That's the point of the high.
Right.
So once I start cleaning, and it takes a spot this big on the counter,
you're just on it.
It's clean. Okay, cool. Now
I got to do everything else.
One of my favorite things to do is weed eat.
Really?
Because I can make a big difference in a short amount of time.
That's true. Yeah.
I
like mowing?
Yep.
That is you.
You know, I love the kind of work I do, like being an iron worker, because right now we're on a 600,000 square foot warehouse. We have 300,000 feet of steel up.
Wow.
Well, when you start seeing, you know,
it becoming
big sections coming up,
yeah,
it feels pretty good.
That
you know, I take pictures and videos and stuff, and a friend's like, I really like watching your progress.
Yeah, it's cool.
So
that's cool. Yeah, I do too. You don't really realize it until it's there, and that's real dopamine, right? That's a real high.
Yeah,
that's your natural brain going, hey, this is good.
When I first moved in this house, everything I owned fit in the back seat of my Dodge Dakota.
Wow.
And I had made a post about, hey, look, if anybody knows anybody that's got any furniture, and a friend hit me up about the TV. It was in Crawfordsville, and I'm like, well, next time I'm over that way, I'll get it. Well, then somebody who had nothing to do with me hit up another friend and said, hey, I got some furniture, Well, I went and picked that couch up over there, and then my table and stuff, and vacuum, and I don't know what all.
Nice.
And brought it over. So I slept on that hide-a-bed for a while.
Oh, wow.
And then I had a friend that, you know, had a king-size mattress that they don't like it because it's memory foam. It's not even 3 months old.
Wow.
And I had to fix 2 slats on the frame. They're like,
that's
look.
It?
Yeah.
Wow.
This couch I've had out in the garage because I didn't want to carry it in because it was too heavy. But I wasn't trying to have both of us sit on that thing over there because it sucks. So I took this apart and brought it inside last night. I mean, I'm progressing.
Yeah.
And I can see, you know what I mean? I don't used to, I want it all, and I want it all right now.
Right.
And my buddy finally got through my head when I met him over 20 years ago and worked for him. He had just a small business, and he paid me $50 a day. And there are some weeks that it was a struggle to pay me. He always paid me.
Wow.
But some weeks that, you know, he'd be short because he paid me. And now the dude's a multimillionaire.
Wow.
And he said, look, man, even if it's just $5, $5 adds up.
Yeah, the little things add up.
I had a kid the other day, a little friend of mine, 14 years old, washes dishes at a restaurant, and he had like $400 in savings.
Wow.
He said, I put $20 in every week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right now, I'm broke most of the time, but my rent was paid 5 days early. Next week, I'm going to pay my my power and gas bill a week early. You know, I keep everything paid early because of our short hours and stuff right now. I got to put a back window in the truck now. Loaded the 4-wheeler up. Put it right through the back window.
Oh, that's the worst. And you know.
Yeah, as soon as I heard that, I knew what it was.
Dang it.
I said, oh, well.
Yeah.
My buddies, he started to get upset. I'm like, why?
Yeah,
well,
what does it
it's
change?
Your window. I'm like,
what does it change
bro,
anything?
Yeah. Whether you laugh about it, whether you're mad about it, it's
still
going to be no more or no less broke. It is what it is. It's the same $160 to fix it. It is what it is. I made the money. I don't care. It was an accident.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's impressive because, I mean, literally a year ago, I've progressed a lot, and I don't know, life, I guess.
Right.
You know, I'm 19, so that's like we're right at the time where you just like start spiking on things. But yeah, I noticed that it's just I would put so much pressure on myself over like a little, like forgetting the camera. I'd be like, oh, I'm an idiot.
Right.
It's like, why?
It's life.
Yeah,
It's
happened.
Life. If that's the worst thing to happen, the window wasn't shit. I got a paper right before that from the federal government saying they want $10,477 and some change by March 13th, and I picked it up Wednesday. Guess what? I don't have it. It is what it is.
Right.
Life's gonna go on.
And I've also found like assigning, like, it sounds weird, but assigning energy to different things, like that, you can't control it. You can't do anything about it but deal with it.
Right.
So why waste energy on worrying about it or wishing it could be different? Because it's what it is.
So I work a 12-step program. That's how I got to where I'm at. And it makes you take a good, long, hard look at yourself. And anybody that wants a life change, I mean, if they're in addiction, I would say 12 steps. If they want to know more, absolutely contact me. I would like to start more meetings in this area. But I learned through the 12 steps that there's only ever been one problem in my life my entire life. Me. I'm the problem. Because not everything requires an action or a reaction.
Yep.
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's a really dangerous slope to fall down when any little thing that happens to you or any big thing that happens to you is blamed on somebody else's actions. Well, yes, someone could have put you in that situation, but you choose how to react.
Right.
That's your choice.
Yep. When that happened to me as a kid, I was like 5 years old.
Right.
So, at what point do I stop saying, being mad at everybody in the world and say, you know what? I can't go back and change it. Let's just let that go and move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. It's really hard to do that. That's really impressive for you.
It's and I'm not gonna lie, the person's popped up in my people you may know 3 times in the last week on Facebook. And part of me wants to send a message and say, has it even crossed your mind to say you're sorry? And it's one of them things I did say for a long time that they had to learn it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And now you see all this stuff on all these ads for juveniles and detention centers. Yeah. Well, this person spent a lot of time in juvenile detention center when they were younger.
Mm-hmm.
And it was around that age. So does it make it right? Absolutely not.
But at least you can.
It makes it easier.
You humanize that person by thinking about that.
At least I don't want to set them on fire anymore.
Well, good. Let's keep it that way.
So I don't do, like we were saying, I don't do anything. I don't smoke pot. I don't nothing. And everybody seems to think I'm a pothead because I am the most laid back, go with the flow.
Right.
And it's just because I want a good life. I want to be happy, and anger does not make me happy.
Well, what I've learned recently is complicating your life. And I almost look at it as a puzzle. Is like when you break your life up into so many different pieces, there's no whole. There's no you. And so you don't you act a different way for this person. You're different. This is a different situation. You're different. There's no constant.
Right.
And that is really, really, really hard on people because you need a constant. I mean, we're creatures of habit.
I went out on a date last year when I was living over in Tuscaloosa with a girl, and after the date, we're still friends. I told her, I said, I'm not anything like what you're used to dating. I don't really think that I'm what you're looking for. She said, you know what I like the most about you, Aden, is you are you.
Yeah.
You don't, and I don't care if somebody likes me or don't like me.
Right.
I mean, if they don't like me, that's a them problem.
Yeah. I think that way too, unless like if they don't like me because I said something that would have upset them or something, like that.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's where I go, okay, I'll hear what you have to say.
Right.
And then if you're lying or you're trying to manipulate me, or you're trying to get something from me, okay.
Right. Well, like if somebody says something and I take it the wrong way, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't.
Right.
That happened at work the other day. a comment was made by a boss that very well could have been made towards me, and kind of was, because it was made towards the whole local. But I said my piece about it and went on about my day.
That's all you can do.
You know, and I told him, I said, if I took it wrong, which you really can't, but whatever. I said, then I apologize, but just don't ever say that again. The word glorified rat. And see, when I went in the union, I didn't go in like most of the younger guys and do the 4-year apprenticeship. No, I've done it for 27 years non-union. So it took me 27 years
to get
to where it took them 4 years to get to. But yeah, it was just
a lot of people are
day.
Insensitive. I used to be extremely insecure. That was also where I would, that's where you put thoughts in other people's head. You think for another person, like.
Yep.
If you look at me a certain way and I go, oh, you probably think I'm ugly.
Right.
And it's like you could have never even, that couldn't have been a thought in your head.
Yeah,
that never was something you would have even picked up on. But that's what I put in there, so now I'm mad at you. So now I have a grudge against you, and now my life's shittier for absolutely no reason. Only my doing. That was my fault. It had nothing to do with you.
Yep.
And I've learned, like, now when because emotions you cannot control. They come, right? They're there. You can't make them go away. You can only observe them, I feel like.
Yeah.
If you just kind of observe it and kind of let it be and figure out how to react to each one, it helps. But for judgment, for me, because I'm always that person, I jump straight to judgment. So now what I do is whenever I think of a negative thought about someone or anything in life, I try to think of a positive thought that goes along with it, or maybe 2 or 3, just to override that negativity.
Right.
And it has changed my perception of reality on things.
Yeah.
It changed how I talk to people. Like, a year ago, I wouldn't be able to communicate with you like this.
Right.
Because I was too worried about what you would think, like, of me saying.
I went to Glow Bingo the other day, and they give you these funky hats and whatnot. And so I didn't know for a long time that I have social anxiety. Like this, I can sit and talk just fine.
Right.
Put me in a group of 100 people.
Yeah, I understand. Me too.
And so the only time I've had an issue in 14 months with my sobriety was, I go in and play slots sometimes at the bar. Walk up to the bar at Julie's I've been to 1,000,000 times, been drunk in there 1,000,000 times.
Right.
Get my Mountain Dew, go sit down at the slot machine. Well, at Glow Bingo, you got all these people in there, and I don't know but 3 of them.
Right.
And I'm standing there ordering my Mountain Dew with a friend, and then somebody orders a vodka and cranberry, and I'm like, I've never drank that in my life. Would have never sounded good. But that night, I'm thinking, man, if I was here by myself, I probably would have ordered that. So I'm going to go sit down, grab my pop for me, and bring it over. So I knew not to go put
remove
myself
yourself
in that.
Yeah.
But, and I didn't realize, that I had these issues.
Right.
And here I am laughing and joking. I'm looking around, and like my sponsor said, how many people did you judge? I'm like, nobody. He said, then why would somebody be judging you?
Exactly. That's really, I like that. Yeah, and honestly, like, I still do it. If I will, say something wrong to you in this conversation, and then I'm not even like saying that. I don't think that you would think any different of me, but I think, I could have said, like, when I watch this back, I'm gonna go, I could have said that better. I could have done this better.
Hey, everything in life, man.
Right.
It's human nature.
Yeah.
I do that. I still, although I'm blind in one eye after my accident I was telling you about where I got my face crushed, I'm still a pretty badass welder. I'd still do it because I love
Are
doing
you fully blind in one eye?
Yeah, my optical nerve to my right eye is dead.
Wow.
It hit me so hard on the left side that it killed the optical nerve.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, they said I wouldn't live through the night. Then when I did, they went in, I got titanium up here under both eyes.
Wow.
They did brain surgery. They said, well, he'll live, but he'll never work again. Less than 90 days later, I was back into my weldhead full time.
Wow. That's amazing. I wonder if they tell you that just so you can, like, have motivation to prove them wrong,
I don't know.
That would be kind of cool.
I think I went back to work so I didn't have to deal with my wife full time. Yeah.
Wow. Can you explain that? Because you explained it to me before.
So I was bent over cutting a tree that was kind of grew in a U shape, and as I started to cut into it, my son was 11 years old at the time. It was my older son, and he says, "Dad, don't stand like that." Maybe he's 12, I don't know. But anyway, he said, "Dad, don't stand like that." And I turned to him. I said, "Son, I stand like this every time." When I turned back around, it snapped, and when it broke, it come up like that. And it was an ash tree, which is what they make baseball bats out of.
Yeah, it's hard.
So basically, I got smacked in the face with a baseball bat.
A big one.
My feet come as high off the ground as my head, and you could see where when I landed, my heels drove into the ground, and then it just folded me in half, and the back of my head hit the ground.
Wow.
I shook twice and stood up. He got my 9-year-old to calm down enough to go get my wife, and I'm standing there, got my shirt off, holding her in my face. She gets back there, and I pull my shirt off. I said, "How bad is it, baby? Can I finish cutting?" And she's like, "You need to sit down."
Wow.
My face was as flat as concrete, except for you could stick your finger that deep between my eyes. She did real good back in my old Chevy truck out of the woods. Got stuck between two trees, and the paramedics got there. And they pulled the truck out, and they said, "We're going to bring the gurney to you." I said, "No, you're not. I'm going to walk to it." And they said, "No, we're going to bring." I said, "No, if you don't let me walk to it, I'm not going." So they let me walk to it. They took me to Crawfordsville Hospital. The doctor come in. He said his name, and I said, "Oh, fuck, I'm going to die." He's the one that pronounced my mom deceased when she had her heart attack. So, no, it's not his fault. But
Right.
It doesn't matter. That was
But
my
that
mom.
was also you had just gotten smashed in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy.
Matter of fact, the night that happened with my mom, I got kicked out of the hospital because the cops come in. They said, "Due to your level of intoxication, you're about to go to jail." And I said, "Due to my level of intoxication, all of you about to get your ass whipped." And my dad said, "Son, we don't need you in jail right now," so I left.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
I don't drink for lots of reasons. One, because it turns me into somebody I don't like.
Yeah.
I used to be the hold my beer, watch this guy. But I drank one beer a couple years ago. It was a Miller Lite Tall Boy, and I had a hangover for a day and a half. And I said, "That's God saying I don't need that shit no more." So.
Yeah.
I don't miss it. I miss nothing about my old life. Nothing. There are people in recovery that say, "Oh yeah, well I wish I could." I don't.
Yeah.
I don't wish I could. You know, there are people that can handle their alcohol and go to work, and same with drugs. I'm not one of them.
Right.
I can turn just about anything into an addiction.
Yeah.
Such as cleaning my house.
I'm curious. You say that. That's that phone right there.
Oh yeah, I hate it.
Yeah.
I know that's an addiction for me. I know it is. I'm getting better.
That's what I was
going to
ask you about.
I
was going to ask you if that would turn into a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Scrolling.
Yep.
I'm addicted to it.
Yep.
It pulls you. It sucks you right in.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep. For the longest time, I wasn't even going to have TV here because I'm like, "Oh, I got my phone." Well, no.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
I'm blind in one eye, and holding that phone, looking at it, is hurting the other eye. So.
Yeah, it's bad.
And a lot of times, like when I want to get up and clean, I'll plug the phone into these little
Just
computer
walk
speakers
away.
I got, turn some music up, and then I'll clean my house.
Right.
And leave that TV off. It hasn't been on today, and it probably won't be on till later.
Yeah. Do you like to make yourself earn it?
No, because when I get home from work, I let the dog out, wash my hands,
but I would
cook
say
my supper.
At that point, you've earned it.
Well, yeah, I have.
I'm saying, like, if you get up and you're laid off and you don't do anything all day, do you get mad at yourself for turning it on?
I haven't had it in 6.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, since my divorce.
It's a reward anyway.
Yeah, since my divorce,
Wow.
So my second marriage, my first marriage, I was real bad. My second marriage, I wasn't a lot better. But there's no denying I was physically, verbally, and emotionally abusive. It does not matter what they did.
Yeah.
As far as whether or not they were the same way.
Right.
What matters is I shouldn't have been that way.
Yeah.
And now I don't let things get to that point.
Yeah.
I'm not even getting in a heated discussion. It's not going to happen. But
some great self-awareness.
I did love my second wife a lot.
Yeah.
And when we split up, she was at one point my best friend.
Yeah.
So yeah, I lost a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm the one that left and never went home.
Mm. Because you knew that
well,
there was nothing good.
We were fighting, and a lot of times it would turn physical.
Mm.
And then I went and got high, and when I did go home, we just fought more.
Right.
And then after that, I found out she had been cheating the entire 9 years with one of my closest friends in the world. And then shortly after it come out that she was seeing his brother, actually, who was another close friend, that was, because I had 2 houses, he was living in one of the houses.
Wow.
They've been on again, off again the whole time, but
wow,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
I say I do wish him happiness, but I know he's left her for another woman recently. So,
patterns people do.
But hey.
Yeah.
If they do it with you, they'll do it to you.
Right. Yeah, once a cheater, always a cheater.
Well, I can't say that.
No?
I'm telling you, I wasn't a very good person for a long time.
I got what you're saying.
No, I was.
That's fair.
And that's why I'm not even mad about how my ex-wife was, because it's not like I was acting right.
Right.
Would she have if I didn't? If I would have? I don't know, but it doesn't matter.
When I look at a situation like that, I go, you're both equally wrong.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. She
how I
called
look at
me right before Valentine's Day. I think it was like the Tuesday before Valentine's Day. 6.5 years, we haven't spoke. She called me because I had sent her a message on Facebook when she popped up, my people you may know, about wanting to make an amends, because she's had me blocked for 6.5 years.
Right.
And she made a big post about it, whatever. So I blocked her, and then a couple months later, I tell myself, well, she unblocked you for a reason. Maybe there's something going on. So I went ahead and unblocked her. And then, I don't know, a couple weeks later, she called me, and I could tell she had been, I would say drinking, but I knew she'd been crying.
Yeah.
And
An emotional
basically
state.
just to tell me that I was a piece of shit and she hated me, and I'm like,
Nice.
well, we determined that about 10 years ago.
It's not new info.
Yeah. So, but she said I wouldn't take accountability, and I don't know where she gets that I don't, and like, I'll admit.
To me, it seems like you're taking a lot of accountability.
Well, that's what I would think, but
that's where everyone's got their own opinion.
Right.
If
I got to be the bad guy for her to be happy, whatever. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna go right in there and go to bed happy.
Yeah.
I'm living my best life.
Yeah, that's good.
Good.
Don't live for other people. Live for yourself.
Nope. That's right. The only person, really, my dog.
Yeah.
My grandbabies and my sons too, but my dog is who I have every day.
Yeah.
So
keeps you going.
As long as she's got her food and she's happy, I'm happy.
Yeah. The class that I student teach for, there's a welder that he had a pretty rough start to life. He's young. And he kind of told me a little bit about his story, and I'm the curious type, so I'll let you talk all day.
Right. Right.
But he told me more and more, and basically he kind of had the same situation you had. Shitty parents that put you in shitty situations. You didn't know any better. And he said the reason that he changed his ways was because he got a dog. Because he wanted to live for that dog. He wanted to give the dog everything he possibly could. And that was what changed his life.
Right. Well, mine was, I just wanted different. I was tired of being unhappy.
Yeah.
It's just, that's
a lot of work. It's a lot of work to be unhappy.
Yeah. Yeah. It is so much easier to act right. I don't have to worry about trying to keep up a lie.
Right.
If I did something that somebody disagrees with,
yep.
Well, I may or may not be sorry, depending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great way to look at it.
I pride myself on treating people how I want to be treated.
Yeah.
And we go from there. Like, if they can't reciprocate it, well, that's fine. They don't have to.
Right.
But they don't have to be a part of my life either.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So if it doesn't add value, push me to do better, or make me happy, I don't want it in my life. At the end of the day, I did have to cut my daughter out for a while before that happened. I mean, things had started to get better, but we had triggered each other's addiction.
Man,
So
that's rough.
Yeah.
And that happens. I guess I never would have thought about that. As when you're around someone else that has the same problem, it coincides.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
And good.
I just want to know what meth feels like.
I can't. So like now, what they call meth.
Oh yeah.
I would do
right.
what they call a hot rail, and I would get up, and I would go get something to eat, and I would lay around. I didn't want to do nothing.
Really?
It was like smoking a joint.
Really?
And that was so. When I found out, like, I was a very, very angry person, like very angry.
Did that stop you from?
Yeah, it made me like
Okay.
I didn't give a shit that my ex-wife cheated.
Right.
Somebody
all
want to
that
fight? I don't care.
go
Go fight yourself. Go box
Right.
your shadow or something.
Right.
Excuse me. Yeah, for me it was like smoking a joint. Now the stuff, the anhydrous dope that I used to make,
What's that?
it's just made with
Just hell.
it's deadly chemicals
Yeah.
mixed together
Yep.
to make you high.
Yeah, hell.
That literally.
Yeah.
I mean, there's none of it that's any good for you by itself, including sulfuric acid, lithium,
Ugh.
all this
Wow.
shit that you mix together to put into your body to
Jeez.
feel energy.
Right.
And like I never felt energy. I just stayed awake.
Oh yeah.
I would stay awake for long periods of time, and then I would hallucinate, and then I would think that people are
trying to
after
get
me.
you,
And, yeah.
the whole rabbit hole.
Yep.
What's a hot rail?
Um,
Did you snort
imagine a line.
Mm-hmm.
You have a piece of glass that you heat one end up really hot, and you do the line, and then
It also vapor
when you
smokes.
yeah
make
when
it
you
smoke.
breathe out, you just breathe the smoke out.
Oh, okay. That's rough. That sounds terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually, I mean, as well as you can, I guess, keeping my habit under control until I did that.
Hmm.
And then that's when things got out of hand.
And primarily it was meth.
Hmm. Well, so the last 6.5 years was meth.
Okay.
Before that, I was a binge cocaine user.
Mm.
Like I told people I was seasonal. In the summer I drank, in the winter I done coke.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like to mix the two.
Right. They're
But
opposites.
of all my stuff, cocaine was the one that was my drug of choice, and that was because of the high, the instant gratification.
The feel
And
good.
then it got to the point as soon like the first hit, and I was paranoid.
Oh.
Like I'd be locking myself in the bathroom with no windows. I remember one time going to a motel.
Ugh.
I took one hit in the bathroom, and I pulled the vent fan out and cut the wires with it running because I thought it was a camera.
Wow. Wow. I've heard stories. I don't know. I'm very interested in things that change your perception or consciousness, things that put you in a different state. So I've learned a lot about if I'm gonna do them or someone offers, I want to know that if it's a bad thing or a good thing. So I try to educate myself as much as possible.
Well, meth is about the worst.
The worst. Yeah. And cocaine's up there too.
Yeah, yeah. When they say it only takes one time for cocaine for you to get addicted, that's exactly what it took. One
Wow.
time. One time.
Did you ever overdose?
I did, but I don't remember it. My cousin,
Okay. I gotcha.
so I used to like to shoot cocaine. And my cousin was telling me a story of when she was in her early teens coming in the bathroom and finding me still on the floor with the needle in my arm where I had fell out doing it.
Wow. Just didn't know it.
Nope.
Woke up.
You-
Wow.
I have a lot of memories or a lot of stories people have told me about when I was high that I have no recollection of, but I
Right.
believe them.
Right?
Man, because it's stuff that only my dumb ass would have done.
Wow.
I've never tried heroin. I was on hydrocodone for like 8 years. When I
Wow.
wanted to stop taking them, I stopped taking them.
It was just whenever you felt like it?
No, I just Well, I was taking them for my pain and stuff, but then I
cut
wasn't
it off.
working, so to keep getting the pain medicine, I had to be able to pass a drug screen while I was
Right.
doing meth, so I couldn't pass the drug screen. And I just like, well, guess I ain't taking pain pills no more.
Wow.
Yeah, I won't do it. But the only two things that I don't see as being a problem if somebody wanted to feel something would be smoke pot or shrooms. Shrooms are pretty cool.
I couldn't agree.
I don't want to do them again, but they're pretty cool.
So when did you do shrooms last time? And that because
Oh,
psychedelics are
2005.
okay. So this isn't. That was while you were still in an altered state of mind most of the time. In a shitty place is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like
yes
meth,
and no.
cocaine.
Well,
You're still within addiction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been within some form of addiction since teenager.
Wow.
And I'm 48.
Up until now.
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's what I really like psychedelics over anything else because I think that they're a tool. I think it's a positive thing most of the time. Again, it depends how you use it because I know people that use it and swear by it and their lives are shitty and they don't gain anything from it.
I see every time I was to eat shrooms, when I would close my eyes for whatever reason, the little Lucky Charms guy, I would see him every time and I would laugh so hard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lucky Charms, man.
The little Lucky Charms guy every time.
Wow. That's so weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
Never tried acid. Have no desire to try acid.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm mentally stable enough for that, and I'm not even playing.
That's what I was asking. I wanted to see if that, because I know if you're in a good state of mind, mushrooms can be a life-changing thing for people.
I want to try that mushroom coffee, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I'm just asking, was it a bad experience or a good experience?
No, it's
and
a good
did you learn
experience.
anything from it?
I wasn't trying.
Right.
I was just trying to.
That's that thing where people won't change until they want to change.
Right.
So if you're not looking for it, you're not going to get it.
Right. Yeah. I have people. One of my family members, and upset, that they're still in active addiction. I said, well, there's help.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't have a magic cure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You just have to be ready. And I wanted to be sober for a long time.
Right.
I went to sober living 3 different times. The first time I was in no legal trouble, no nothing. I just wanted a different life. I completed the 4-month program. Shout out to Truman House.
Where's
but
that?
I failed 6 days later, Terre Haute, Indiana.
Okay. 6 days.
6 days.
And
fucking around with the wrong woman.
That's it. Wrong person, wrong people.
Yep, I was chasing the wrong thing. And then, I had a piece of shit landlord. I was buying a house off of him, and he decided just to make me homeless out of the blue.
Ugh.
And I even had a friend offer to pay the house off in cash, and the guy wouldn't do it. He literally said he wanted to make me homeless.
Jeez.
And I was felon drug screens at the time anyway with probation. And my probation officer said, look, you have 2 choices. You either go somewhere and get your head out of your ass, or I got somewhere you're going.
Yeah.
So I went to Johnny's house in Attica, Indiana. And that is an amazing program. I highly recommend it and Truman House, honestly. Johnny's house, they do, every Sunday they do relapse prevention and MRT, and I think every person on the face of this earth should do MRT.
What is MRT?
Moral recognition therapy.
That sounds good to me already.
They teach you that from birth that you learn to manipulate.
Yes. Yeah, kids are so good at.
Yeah. Yeah, because, as a baby, you learn
get,
if you
get
cry,
what you want.
you get food.
You get what you need. Right.
Right. And it
That's how you live.
Teaches you skills to understand that, when you're manipulating or, how you're trying to manipulate a situation to benefit you. It teaches you to set up goals. And, they want you to write on paper I don't know how many things, like 5 things that you want in a year from now, 5 years from now. And then you look back at that paper and you're like, really, this is all I wanted?
Wow.
I'm so much further than this.
Wow. That's amazing. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So it's just like, what is it called again?
Moral recognition therapy.
Moral recognition therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of humbling you almost.
Right. It's kind of like the 12-step program
And
in a group setting instead of a one-on-one setting.
What is the 12 steps? I don't know anything about it. You don't.
So step 1 is admitting that you are
doing wrong,
an addict or alcoholic or whatever, and that you're powerless, and there's things like step 8, you gotta make amends. That's just it's basically teaching you about yourself,
right? Or connecting with yourself better,
right? Understanding.
It's kind of like when I said,
and like so they say God of your understanding.
It's putting those pieces back together,
right? And they say God of your understanding. Okay. So a guy that I go to meetings with says my God has skin on it, meaning other people around him are what his God.
Whoa,
you're admitting that it takes a power greater than yourself to overcome addiction. And I mean, that can be anything. One guy said to him, God stands for a group of drunks.
Well, that's interesting. So
I believe in God. I believe in heaven. I believe in hell.
Yeah.
But I also know that how often do we see that there's been books left out of the Bible? So I don't know that my conception is exactly what that
what is right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know that when I decided to surrender my will, which is my way of thinking, and my life, which is the way I live, over to the God of my understanding, my life went from shit to this.
Okay. That's religion's been hard for me because it doesn't make sense to me, and to be honest, it just feels like a cult. All of it seems like a cult to me. Right. Now that's the harshest way I can put it. Right. I've changed that. I look at it more as like Christianity. The Bible is just a self-help book. That's how I look at it. And what I've changed about religion for me is, yes, I believe there's a higher power. I don't know what that is. I don't know which story's right. I don't. Right. So what I've the conclusion I've come to for the time being, what I know, because it'll change, I know it. But because I think if there was a God, and the way I think about it is, wouldn't he give us a bunch of different ways we can live our lives, and so we can have a foundation to build off of? And that's what all the different religions are, in my opinion, is God gave a bunch of different ways you could live your life, and these are the ways that you could do it correctly, and you have the choice to make a correct decision or a poor decision.
Right. That's the free will.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, we have
so
that.
That's where I get caught in the Bible, where it's like, you sins. I don't. To me, sinning isn't a thing. To me, I don't think God would be like, you do anything wrong. Like,
well,
I don't know how to explain it.
I understand what you're saying.
Because the human has to learn. Like, God has put us down here to figure it out.
Right.
And figuring it out is doing the wrong thing a lot of the time.
Oh, yeah.
And learning from it. So sins doesn't make sense to me. It seems like a...
Well,
it's just,
okay,
I don't
so
get
it. I made a post the other day. I was talking about the Girl Scout cookies at leaving the store. I said, fucked up and made eye contact, and the little pushers got me holding a box, and I put a picture of the thing. And my buddy's like, well, I hope you use better language. And I'm like,
of course.
He said, well, I don't think language like that, the F word, should be used on social media. I said, well, I guess we differ in opinion.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
So I haven't ever seen it in the Bible say the word fuck is a sin.
A negative.
It's
yeah.
profanity. I mean,
It's just a word.
We have determined, as a culture that
Well, and that's
it is what it is.
That's
it's
where
my
the
language.
thing is like you look at 100 years in the past, and fuck was a completely different word. It meant different things.
Fornication under consent of the king.
Right. Words change. Things
Right.
change. Like, I don't know, retard.
Right.
I use that word all the time.
Yep.
I personally think I'm a retard. I
Right.
do a lot of dumb things, you
Right.
know. But the word means slow.
Right.
It doesn't mean, it's not like, and I'm not gonna call someone who is born with autism a retard.
Right.
That's not right.
Right.
I'm not gonna do that. I'll call Michael Scott quote from The Office. You call your friends retarded when they're acting retarded.
Right.
It's like, it's just a word. When you make it have meaning, then it has meaning,
Right.
and then it hurts. Why don't you just let it be?
Because people want something to bitch about,
That's
fight
right.
about, and
Yeah, people like
division.
conflict.
Yep.
It's crazy. It's kind of like goes back to addiction, is you want that not chaos.
Well, that's what you want in addiction.
You think
it's
that?
chaos.
You think it's chaos?
Yeah, you step 2 is admitting your life has become unmanageable.
Okay.
Step 3 is admitting that a power greater than yourself can and will restore you to sanity if sought.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot of good knowledge. I think. So you went through the school system? Did you go to school?
Yeah, I got my GED and I do have some college.
But did you go through like elementary and high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I quit 2 weeks before graduation.
Oh.
Yeah, because I was a genius.
Yeah,
I
of
was
course.
more worried about
Right.
chasing that same thing that got me in trouble after I left the Truman House.
Right.
I
Wow, that young?
was 18.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That young.
I found out a lot of things about some of the previous generation of my family that
Okay.
I don't know if I was sheltered
Mm.
from and I don't remember, or if I just have blocked it out and I don't remember.
Right.
But it's no wonder that I turned out the way I did.
It's a pattern.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There
So
was
you think
things
there is
about my family that
genetically passed down?
Well, I don't know so much about genetically. It's possible because there's a lot of alcoholics. Like I said, my dad was an alcoholic. My
Yeah.
grandpa, I think he was an alcoholic. But product of environment is what I call it.
Mm.
You're gonna become what you're around.
Yeah.
And then it's up to you to like my youngest son, never tried meth in his life. It won't. He
Right.
hates it
Right.
because of what it's done to the
He's-
rest of the family.
Right. That you see
No.
a lot too with alcoholic, as the kids go the farthest they possibly can away from it, and
Right.
then some, get sucked in.
Yep.
That's
My
rough.
kids are potheads, and
Yeah.
my 2 sons, and it is what it is.
Yeah. As long as
I've never smoked a joint and wanted to go fight somebody, but I can't say the same about alcohol.
no, I don't.
So.
I hate. I'm on the same page as you. I think mushrooms and cannabis are the only things you can use to an extent.
Right.
Because those are the ones that aren't gonna make you hate your wife. Aren't.
Right.
Well, like you said, I can't think of one story of someone who was just high on weed doing something really heinous.
The only thing I'm gonna tear up on weed is the refrigerator door.
The cabinets, yeah. That's
I mean,
funny.
it just, I have thought about after my probation, because I only have 3 months left on probation, and
Nice.
I'm done. I've never successfully completed
Wow.
probation in my life.
That's
And I
awesome.
have less than $1,000 and 3 months left, and I'm done.
Wow.
3 years.
Congratulations.
And like my probation officer, when I went and seen her last Wednesday, she's like, "Well, you got time to get your fees paid." She says, "Oh, wait, no, you got to get." I said, "Yeah, no, 3 more times." And it's gonna kind of be crazy because I like going to see my PO.
Yeah.
She's a lot like my daughter,
Oh.
and they're really only, I think they're about a year different in age, and she will chew my ass just like my daughter did. Yep.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, well, tell her that.
Yeah, I have.
Good.
Yeah. No, she's good people.
I love good people. I used to think that I hated people, and I really just hated myself at the time.
Right.
But I love people. This is my favorite thing, sitting down and being able to have this conversation with you. I was so excited about this.
I used to be a people person.
Yeah.
And then people fucked that up.
Were
But
you
I'm
ever
getting
a
back.
people pleaser?
Oh, bad. I still struggle with that.
Yeah.
Still struggle with it.
Boundaries is a really good thing to learn.
After my second divorce, yeah. It was insane.
Yeah. Everything you would never do now.
Oh yeah,
Do you think that those things had to happen for you to get to the point? Like,
I don't.
That was happened for a reason, and you look at it as not necessarily a negative, but as a thing that needed to happen.
Everything in my life, good and bad, led me to where I am today, and I am happy with where I am, and I don't. There are some things that I am ashamed of, but I don't regret anything.
That was what I was leaning towards. If you regret.
Nope, and I don't want to forget any of it, because
Right.
if I forget any of it, then I'll go back to where I was.
Right. Well, wow.
You know, I don't want to forget the monster that I used to be, because I don't ever want
You have
that
to
way.
have, you have to go through hell to appreciate heaven.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. The other day, I don't know why. Oh, it was about that back window.
Yeah.
I was driving home from KU. That's where it happened at. And I'm like, man, every day can't be a good day.
Yeah.
Because if every day is a good day, you ain't gonna appreciate shit.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, all in all, I have pretty good luck. You know, I feel like God puts me where I need to be when I need to be there.
Yeah.
An example, I was like 30 some days sober, working up in up by Champaign. Like I said, I didn't have water in my RV, and I got off work, because I would have to go, pay $20 to shower, truck stop, whatever.
Right.
And I decided I wanted to get a room that night. It was cold out anyway, so I stopped at the gas station, because it wasn't even a planned trip. And I could tell when I got out of the truck that this guy was high.
Yeah.
I go into the gas station, I come back out with my charger, car's gone, I don't think nothing else about it. I pull into the motel parking lot, and I get out, and I hear, hey, didn't I just see you? And I look over, and I'm like, oh yeah. He says, hey, can I ask you a question? So what's that? He said, can I come up and take a shower? I said, man, and I, like I said, I knew, so I'm like, nah, bro,
Yeah.
I gotta get up in 4 hours for work, da-da-da. So I went upstairs, I forgot the charger. I go back downstairs, I get it, I see him pulling out. I forgot the charging block. So I go back downstairs again to get it. And I see him pulling back in the parking lot and parking on the other side. And just as I get to the door, I stopped. I turned without even thinking. I walked over to the car and I pulled up a picture of what I look like at my worst. I said, this is me. I want you to see that I've been where you're at. And I just want you to know, man, there's help out there. We exchanged numbers. When I got a new phone number, I texted him, said, hey, it's Aden. This is my new number. We texted a little bit, and then I didn't hear from him for a while. And then right after my heart attack in June, he messaged me and said, hey, it's so-and-so. I just want you to know I've got X amount of days clean.
Wow.
He said, and a lot of it has to do with the stranger taking the time out to come over and talk to me. And we still talk off and on now, and he's in Decatur.
That's beautiful. Wow.
So, the day before I lost my daughter, I was off that weekend. I was going to go see him, because she would do this thing where she would ignore me because she knew it pissed me off. And I'd just pop in down there. And I kept texting her saying, you know what? You're about to make me just roll up and show my ass. And it didn't matter. She's stubborn. She got it from me, so she'd just stick to it. Well, on the 12th, I was going to go down there, but I had a donut tire on my car. I'm the dude that drove 3 times from Danville to Peoria with 3 donuts delivering dope. So, I mean, But here, I want to be stubborn, exactly what she learned from me. So, and then I get that call the nenext night. And for a while, I beat
Wow.
myself up that, hey, why didn't you just go? Well, because I didn't. I don't have an excuse.
Right.
So now when it's on my heart to do something or to say something to somebody or
You don't waste that opportunity.
I do it. Because I know that that's not
You can't
me.
get that moment back.
Right.
Yeah.
There are people that have hit me up, to talk to me about things, and I promise you, the words that come out of me, whether it's in text or voice, were not my words. My brain don't think like that. I know that's because when I pray, I ask God, use me to show others there's a different way. It doesn't mean just an addiction. It means that you don't have to be some abusive asshole, that you don't have to fight with everybody, that
Right.
just life.
Yeah. And be a good person.
You know?
Yeah. Wow. That's wow. Make me speechless. I
mean,
agree with you though. I like to help people as much as I can. Which again, I used to think that I hated people, but I really love people.
Right.
I just want to help. I just want to.
I've learned that just because I'm going up doesn't mean my hand isn't stretched back.
Yeah.
I just make sure that my grip is up here because I'm not going back for anybody.
Right. I gotta answer this. I don't
Go
know
ahead.
what the deal is. What's up? Hey. That's good. I'm in an interview right now, so unless it's like you're in a trouble. No, you're fine. You called me twice, so I was like, oh, is there something wrong? No, you're good. You're good. I'll call you when I'm done. All right, bye. Just wanted to make sure there wasn't something wrong.
Right.
Yeah, I feel what you were saying. I like to give advice. That's my favorite thing, really. And a lot of the times, what comes out of my mouth when I'm actively giving advice, there's no way I can't recreate what I said.
Right.
I don't even know how I said it that way.
Yeah.
No idea.
If somebody said, "Can you say it again?" Say what again?
Exactly. Yeah.
What are you talking?
Yeah. It just was that moment in time.
Yep.
It happened.
Yep. I just had that yesterday with my nephew. I know that I've tried several times to talk to him about things in his life.
Yeah.
And it's always been me trying to tell him.
Right.
But something else took over yesterday, and he's like, you know what? You're right.
Wow.
I'm
The words
learning to
just-
communicate.
Yeah.
Because like for a relationship, that's one of my biggest things.
Mm-hmm.
Communication, honesty and communication.
Yeah.
Everything else we can work with.
Yeah. I agree. Communication, in my opinion, is one of the most important skills you can use in life or learn in life. Have. Because you can't get anywhere without talking to someone else, Communication is very important.
Yeah. Yep. And that's where we struggle at work right now, and that's why
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is. Can't change what you can't change.
Yep.
That was also a big thing for me, is figuring that out. I would always get so worked up about, like a family member. I want the best for them, but they don't want the best for them.
Oh yeah.
And it beat me up.
Yeah.
Tear me up. I'm like,
wait till you got kids. My son, Austin, my older son, is an amazing welder, can weld pipe. His last job, he made it to manager at Taco Bell. Okay, cool. You're happy?
Nice.
Now he's getting ready to start washing dishes at a nursing home. Because, hey, you know what? Does it bother me to an extent because I see his potential? But at the end of the day,
Right.
at least he's trying, because he's still struggling with the life after losing his sister. So I get it. He wants to be right there with his mom, with his, niece and nephew.
Yeah.
I get it. But, I mean, do you know the Serenity Prayer?
Hmm?
Do you know the Serenity Prayer?
No.
God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change.
Oh, yeah,
the
I do.
courage to change the things
Yep.
I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Yes.
That's the thing to live by.
That is again, I think the Bible's a self-help book. Because
Well,
the more that is fantastic advice.
That's Addict's Serenity Prayer.
That's Addict's Serenity Prayer. I
Yep.
mean, it couldn't be more true.
Yeah, because life on life's terms.
Yeah, Yeah, right. Yeah, you
I
don't.
I spent so, when the federal government or whoever decided to create TurboTax and let people file their own tax, well,
Yeah,
I'm an addict, so of course I picked which W-2s was going to get me the most amount of money, and those are the ones I filed and left the others off. They caught it.
yeah.
I owe them $10,000. Well, that didn't stop me.
Mm.
That was during my binge addiction.
Mm.
So then after my divorce, I haven't filed taxes since 2018.
Wow.
I owed the 10,000 from the 2017, and I haven't paid a penny in federal tax
Wow.
since 2018. Nothing.
Dang.
Can you imagine how much I owe them right now?
No.
In 4 months' time last year, I made $35,510.
Gone.
Oh yeah, it was while I was sick,
Oh my.
and I wasn't even
gosh.
working a lot. So I mean, I didn't work a whole lot during addiction. I think 2020, I probably made $10,000 for the whole year.
Wow.
But yeah, it's
It'll get you. But
I'm getting ready to be. But you know what? I did it.
right.
I'm not mad.
Right. It was the
I'm mad at
consequence.
myself. I'm
right.
upset with myself. I knew better, but
Mm-hmm.
I
Consequence
might
of
have
your
to go
actions.
let the dog in. It might be right.
It is raining pretty hard. What are we at?
Is it raining?
How long are we? It says 82 minutes. There we go. It's raining pretty good now. Yeah, an hour and 22. Doesn't feel like it.
She's gonna bark, but
That's fine.
if she goes to jump up, I'll get her.
Okay. The puppers. I just want to thank Derek Rasmussen for giving me the opportunity to interview this wonderful man. Thank you, Derek. And thank you, Derek, for giving him the ability to get off the bad path. She's dirty. Hi, puppy. Hi. 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 You're going to get me all wet. Yeah, you're so wet. You're so wet. You're a big sweetheart. She's such a sweetheart. She's a happy girl. Sushi. How'd you get the name Sushi?
I don't know. That's what it was when I picked her up.
Didn't want to change it. How old was she?
4.
4. Okay.
Come here.
Hi.
Susie.
Hi.
Come here.
You're such a sweetheart. How old is she now?
She's still 4.
Still. Okay. Right.
Or she just had a birthday. I think she just turned 4.
The puppy. Still got that puppy energy.
Oh yeah.
Hi. 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 He's such a sweetheart. Yeah. Yeah. Go see what he's doing.
She's never not barked at the mail being into this house. Never.
Every time.
She still barks at Derek.
Yeah.
And she's known him since October.
Yeah. That's why I like to get the pets when they're young, so I can raise them. I got my cat to whistle. Like, I can whistle and he'll come to me. Which I brag about it myself because I think it's really
Right.
impressive that he does,
Yeah.
but
My son's got cats.
Yeah.
I actually was going to get a cat instead of a dog just because it's easier to take care of.
yeah, they're much more self-sufficient.
But like, I wanted someone to take with me all the time, and
Right. Yeah. That was part of the thing. It's like I love both. I mean, I love all. We used to have koi. I mean, tons of different animals, squirrels, flying, sugar gliders, like just
Oh, yeah.
everything. Yeah. And dogs and cats are, man, they're the best.
yeah, I
They
agree.
love you like no one else can,
Yeah,
unconditionally.
if I stick her in the trunk of a car, and if I stick a girlfriend or wife in the trunk of a car, I guarantee she'll still be happy to see me when I open it.
Yeah. That's true. That's funny. Well, we're getting 1:30, so I want to ask you if you have anyone or advice out there for anyone that as in the situation that you've been in, or just any rough situation in life,
there's help.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether it's addiction or what it is. There's help.
Yeah.
Reach out. You don't have to live that way. I promise there's somebody that cares, and I know this because I can tell you whether I've met anybody in person or not. I care.
Right.
I didn't get a chance to get my laundry done because actually I have a shirt that I got for my daughter that I wanted to wear. It says, "Stay, tomorrow needs you."
Yeah.
Yeah, it just, we're only here for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Let's enjoy it.
Yeah.
There's no sense being miserable. We can recover from addiction. We just can't do it on our own.
Yeah.
I was a homeless, useless piece of shit in my opinion. But at the end of the day, somebody said you're still somebody's son, somebody's dad, somebody's grandpa, somebody's brother.
Yeah.
My sister and I, we had went over a year before without speaking not one word.
Wow.
And we talk every day.
Yeah.
2 and 3 times a day. A better life is there.
Yeah.
But it's right on the thing on the other side of fear.
Yes.
And
you have to take
fear's a bitch, but
yeah,
we can overcome it.
It's a big jump. I like to look at it as like you dig yourself in a hole, and it's, you want to get out of the hole the whole time you're in the hole. You know it's bad, but trying to climb out is so challenging. But once you're out, life is worth it again.
Like I said, I want to start more because I think there's one recovery meeting around here.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately is the same day that I do my one in Cayuga. If anybody that sees this wants to, start more meetings or whatever, feel free to get a hold of me. And I don't care. We'll do it at my house. We'll rent somewhere, whatever. But, people are dying.
Yeah.
And that's only going to get worse.
Right. Unfortunately.
One of the things I love about the Cayuga meeting is I think there was 14 people in there the other day, and I had been high with 10 of them.
Wow. That's really.
And these are my, some of my friends that are getting sober.
Wow.
One friend, I kind of suckered him one day. I looked over at her. I said, "Hey, you want to go to a hog roast?" And she said, "Sure." And on the way there, I told her I was going to a meeting. It was a hog roast.
Mm-hmm.
Big family hog roast, but we also had a meeting, and she's
wow.
She has had one slip since then, but she's doing really good, and I'm very proud of her.
I want to also, I think it's really important, is that slipping part, because that part isn't really talked about as much.
I slipped, I don't know how many times before unfortunately, for some people it happens.
Yeah.
They say that, when you start going to the meetings, give it 90 days, give it 6 months. If you don't like it, I promise, give you $20 and you can return right back to your misery.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Right.
It's not any better.
Yeah.
You will not.
It didn't change when you're
they,
away.
If you're starting here and you're going down and you get to here and you say, "Okay, I'm done." Well, if you go back out, you're not going to start back up here. You're going to start right back here.
Right.
And then you're just going to keep going down.
And
everybody's rock bottom is different.
Yeah.
But one thing about it, my foundation is built from the rock bottom, so it's solid foundation.
Yeah. I watched a video recently, and it was how you're saying that life is short. Just kind of back to that a little bit. Basically, they made a scale model of the history that we know of the entire universe, and then they show you a scale model of, and like they set out every 10, 20 feet they'd put a little marker, and then they'd fly a drone and show how vast our history really is. And then they get to the end of the universe history, and then they pull up a little block, and on that block there's a small little red piece, and they go, and this is human history. And then they go, and if you look really close, your life is less than a human hair. And
Yep.
that's how big your life is compared to history of the universe.
My mom turned 52 November 27, 2005. She died of a sudden heart attack December 25th, 2005. She was a nurse. She hadn't been to the doctor for nothing in 14 to 16
She's
years.
healthy.
Yeah.
Healthy woman.
Yep.
Wow.
And when I had my heart attack in June, they the cardiologist only comes in 1 day a week, Wednesday morning, and it just so happened that I had stayed in Rantoul that night before, and was in Williamsport, going through Williamsport on my way back to Lafayette when it happened, and the cardiologist come in. All my labs come back fine.
Wow.
He said because of family history that he'd go ahead and order the stress test, and that's when they found out. If they wouldn't have done that, I'd probably be dead right now.
Wow.
Because I had a severely leaking aortic valve that come to find out was a genetic birth defect. My aorta.
So your whole life you dealt with that?
Yeah,
Wow.
didn't know it.
Right.
My aorta was at 5 centimeters. They're supposed to be 3. If that would have popped, which it was right there ready to go,
Gone.
it doesn't matter if you're in the emergency room. You're done.
You're gone.
There is no second chance. I'm here because, and they told me, the fact that I lived to 48 with this, being as bad as it was, I'm lucky.
Wow.
The fact that I lived the life that I lived and made it to this 48, somebody wants me here.
Yeah.
I'm here for a reason.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if I can get my story out there and let people know that, you can change.
Yeah.
A guy that I used to shoot dope with owns 7 recovery houses in Terre Haute now.
Wow.
My over the next year goal is to start some sober living in this area. I'm just not sure where yet, because it has to be the right area. It has to be able to have employment for the people and stuff. So, that's something I'm working towards.
Wow.
And I have a support system to help me start it.
Yeah, which is crucial.
Yeah. So, it's, again, if people are looking, get a hold of me, because I have resources. I have resources that, I got the same guy that owns the 7 houses, it's Truman House, used to own Evolve Indy, which is a medical detox in Indianapolis. But I still have people in Evolve that, Anna Branch. I don't really know what all is in this area. I know more about Indiana.
Right.
But I'm in the process of learning more about here. I know there's Our House down in Charleston. So it's out there.
Yeah.
There is a better life out there. I promise you. There's a better life out there. You just have to take that first step.
Yeah. And the first step's the hardest.
Yep.
Well, thank you.
And the most rewarding.
Yeah, I bet. And scary. Thank you so much.
Yep. Been a pleasure.
Yeah, I'm really glad to sit down and talk to you.
Anytime.
Yeah, we can do this again. I'd like to, and maybe we have Derek. All four of us.
Derek has
3.
Derek has been a huge support of why I'm at where I'm at today. When I met him, it was Memorial Day weekend of 2023, and he asked me if how many days I had, and I said only 7 at that time. And he said, "Don't say only 7, man. That's a long time. Some people can't even make it 7 hours," and that's true.
Yeah.
But Derek's 14 years younger than I am, and he's a hell of a man, and I hope to be the man he is one day. And I told him out there today, he's a good dude.
He is. I agree. He set this up.
Yep.
So thank you, Derek.
Yeah, thanks.
Any closing? Anything you want to say? You're here.
217-460-0362 is my phone number. Call me, text me. During the day I'm at work, and if you need me at night, you got to call, because I won't hear the phone. I won't hear a text. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I sleep hard. But call back to back if need be. You'll never piss me off. I don't care if you're not an addict, you're just having a bad day. Call. I'll sit and listen to whatever. Probably isn't much that I haven't been through. So,
Well, thank you. You're a great man.
thank you.
You've been through a lot, and you're able to sit down and say, "I'm changed," and that is really amazing.
I'm changing.
Yeah, that's even better.
You know,
Never stops.
I have no problem if somebody sees me slacking somewhere. Just tell me.
Yeah.
Just don't come up and talk to me like I'm an idiot,
Right.
because then we got a problem. But
Yeah.
and then I'm still gonna work on it. I'm just, I'm
It's
still
just not
kind
as-
of an asshole, so it's gonna take me 3 months instead of getting right on it. But
Right.
Just treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
If the whole world would do that, we wouldn't have all this bullshit we have.
I agree. Well, thank you so much.
Yep,
Love
been
to do
my
this
pleasure.
again. Peace out, everyone.